always ask the same question when they find out I won so many prizes on The Price is Right. How much did you pay in taxes? And that's a real fair question, so I'm gonna walk you through it. Spoiler, it's not as simple as you think, and things like my $1,000 beret certainly weren't free. First off, you need to understand I filmed my episode in 2024, but it didn't air until 2025, which means this impacts my 2025 taxes and is subject to any tax laws for 2025. The only person I could tell about winning the prizes was my accountant because I needed him to give input on if I did or did not accept things, or at the very least understand what the tax implications were. They literally said the only exception to telling people is your accountant, and thankfully I have one of those. At the end of the day, I won $46,333 in prizes, which is amazing and a dream come true. However, I did choose to forfeit one of my prizes. The prize value is $2,267, so I'm not taxed on that amount. That brought my taxable prize value to $44,066, which is basically what I won minus the one I forfeited. That's the remaining value. The first tax bill you have to pay before you get any of your prizes, and that's to the state of California. As of 2025, the California state tax is 7%, so I had to pay 7% of the $44,066 before I could receive any of my prizes. That means I had to pay $3,084.62 out of my pocket before I received a single thing. Yikes. The cool thing is, if you win cash prizes on The Price is Right, they actually just take that California state tax out before they pay you, so it does make it a little more simple. Now let's talk about federal taxes, and this is where I think people get most confused. You are not taxed like a lottery winner. It's actually taxed as your regular income. That means this amount is added to our usual income and taxed based on our marginal tax rate, which is just a fancy way of saying the more you earn, the higher the next dollars get taxed. It's only the money that crosses into the next bracket that gets taxed at the higher rate, not the whole amount. If you're barely in a lower tax bracket and you win $46,000 of taxes and it bumps you up to the next tax bracket, you're not suddenly paying that new higher rate on all of your taxes. It's only going to be the amount that is over the new tax bracket. So even if you win a bunch of prizes and it changes your tax bracket, it's not going to impact what you previously would have paid in taxes anyways. Here are the 2025 federal tax brackets according to the IRS. And just for knowledge, my husband and I filed jointly. I'm married, we filed together. Because I won $44,066 and my husband and I are both employed, you can see that it's likely will fall in the 22% bracket or higher. Because two incomes plus an additional $44,066 is going to be well above the 12% limit. So depending on where we land for our actual 2025 income, here's an estimate. If 22% applies, so you take 0.22, multiply it by the prize amount, we'd owe $9,694.52 in federal taxes. And when you add that to the previous $3,084.62 that we paid to the state of California, we'd get a grand total tax bill of $12,779.14. Woo! So yes, I won $44,066 worth of prizes. However, it came with a hefty tax bill of $12,779.14. That's roughly 29% of the value of the prizes I won. Or I've heard other people say it's like you get a 70% coupon on things you may not have even wanted. I paid 30% for this beret. Would I normally pay $300 and some for a leather and silk beret? No. Am I delighted to do it because I won it on The Price is Right and it's part of an overall prize package and experience? Yes. I am certainly not complaining. I'm just sharing with you the real facts. And maybe this gives a little more understanding to why I forfeited a prize. And if you want to hear exactly what I forfeited and why, you can watch this video right here where I break it down and break down the process of forfeiting a Price is Right prize. Thank you so much for watching. I've had so much fun pulling back the curtain and sharing with you the behind the scenes details of a winner, what the process is like. I've loved every single bit of it. Nothing I share is a complaint. I am so grateful to be on the show. I was so grateful to win the prizes. And I'm even grateful that I won so much that I get to pay so much in taxes. Now that you know all about the taxes, would you have accepted all the prizes or would you pass on a few too? Thank you so much for watching. Ciao and a ciao.